Hammer Jam has finally been confirmed, and in this video I'm going to help you make the most out of these 2 weeks. And don't worry, I'm not just going to be repeating information from my other Hammer Jam video. We're going to be going over tips for efficiency for all Town Halls, and then talking specifically about what Town Hall 17s could do to prepare for Town Hall 18. Let's break down the key details of Hammer Jam this year. Hammer Jam will run between November 1st and November 17th, which is awesome because this is longer than the 2 weeks that we expected. And traditionally, this means that Town Hall 18 will come out on November 18th, but this is not an official confirmation. The 50% cost and time reductions apply to buildings, lab, heroes, and pets. Of course, walls are also half off, and wall rings will reflect the half off price, not the standard price. On top of this, all Town Halls will be able to participate, but this does not apply to builder base, and I know Asher is probably out there crying somewhere right now. This also does not apply to temporary upgrades such as supercharges as well as crafted defenses. So those are the details, but let's go ahead and talk about the problems you might be having starting Hammer Jam. With a 1-day turnaround from notice of the event to the actual event, it's 100% possible one or more of your builders are still working. And when Hammer Jam drops, it won't apply to the buildings that are already being done, but rather new buildings. So you could use a builder potion to speed up the leftover time, but the question is, should you? And it actually is. If you still have some builders working, you can use a builder potion to speed up that time to ensure that they are ready for Hammer Jam. If you have a really long upgrade to do, you can consider using a book or a hammer instead. And this is because it's more efficient for you to use builder potions during Hammer Jam than it is to even use magic items as a max Town Hall 17. Okay, so now you've started Hammer Jam alright, but what are the practical tips for you to actually go ahead and progress faster? Obviously, builder and research potions are awesome and you should 100% use them, but when is the optimal time to do so? The answer to this is based on the fact that optimal efficacy is dictated by the fact that builders are working all the time. So you should use your builder potions whenever you're not going to be able to have your builders working all the time. For example, if an upgrade is going to complete while you go to work or when you're sleeping at night. For those of you that don't already know, buying builder potions for CWL medals is super efficient, so you should 100% do that if you're not close to max. Pet potions are also pretty good value during this time since you're going to get double value out of them. Since getting the pet upgrades done sooner means you can get more pet upgrades at half the cost. When it comes to efficiency outside of these things, the most important thing is the Goblin Builder and the Goblin Researcher, which will be active during this event. For any of you that are having doubts that this is the #1 way to spend gems during Hammer Jam, you can see this chart right here, which I made during my Hammer Jam prep video. And if you need the math and the rationale behind this chart, you can go ahead and check out that video as well. If you have the gems, you ideally want to have both the Goblin Builder and Researcher every single day, but I know gems are really hard to come by, so the question becomes, if you have to pick one of them, which one should you prioritize? I think between the two, the most important one to prioritize is actually the Goblin Researcher for 2 different reasons. Because the lab can only do 1 research at a time, this effectively doubles the value of your lab throughout Hammer Jam, which is already doubled, so you get tons of value. Secondly, I did the math on how many buildings require magic items and how many lab upgrades require magic items, and the buildings are significantly higher, so you'll be using magic items for those buildings later on, and right now you could go ahead and catch up on all those smaller lab upgrades. Alright, so those are the general tips on how to do well during Hammer Jam. Let's go ahead and cover some of the most frequently asked questions that I literally cannot stop getting. First off is, should you jump to XYZ Town Hall in preparation of Hammer Jam or to get the best value out of it? I think the question is a little bit ill-directed, because just because you're going to a higher Town Hall level does not mean you're going to get better value out of Hammer Jam. The key thing with Hammer Jam is that your builders are working all the time, so if you're having any problems putting your builders down because you don't have upgrades or something like that, then you need to fix that. Now, if you've done your priority upgrades for any Town Hall level, I would highly recommend that you go to the next Town Hall level, since the priority upgrades are the key ones in my opinion. Another instance you should go to the next Town Hall level is if you're maxed out on walls. If you're completely maxed out, you want to still get good value out of the resources that you're getting, so you should go to the next Town Hall level. Aside from that, I wouldn't really recommend it too much. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying that, hey BD, if you get half off the walls, you know, shouldn't you go to the higher Town Hall so you get more off of those walls? And yeah, in practice that is true, you will get more reduced per wall, but in reality it actually doesn't make a difference to your investment cost. What I mean is, let's say that, you know, I don't know, you farm 150 million resources for walls during Hammer Jam. You put those 150 million into walls, and because of Hammer Jam, you effectively get 300 million resources worth of wall upgrades done. Whether you do low level walls or high level walls, that 300 million is still going to be the same. So it doesn't really matter if you have higher or lower level walls. What does matter, however, is that if your walls are maxed, you should go to the next Town Hall level. So That is the only rule that you really have to keep in mind when you're upgrading your walls. Now, another question that I get really frequently is whether or not you should do heroes or buildings during Hammer Jam. Now, I usually tell you guys to skip heroes until Town Hall 17, and that's still the recommendation moving forward. But for Hammer Jam, it's better for you to do those heroes at double value, and if you can get builder potions on them as well, that's really good. This is because not only do you minimize upgrade time, but you also minimize the time where you're not going to be able to use heroes, and I think that's huge. Now, while you're upgrading your heroes, if you max your walls, again, same rule, right? You're going to go to the next Town Hall level. The question becomes, how do you deal with ranked leagues? Because obviously you can't just drop out of your ranked leagues during this time. I would just do all your attacks at one time, and if your heroes are upgrading, try to get them to sync so that they end at one time, and then do all your attacks in one go. What I wouldn't do is purposefully not sign up for league, and the reason for this is because some people are getting demoted even though they're only doing this for 1 week, so you need to be careful. But basically, I forgot to tell you guys what to do if you're trying to upgrade your heroes during CWL, which is going to be the case. In that case, what I would recommend is that on the end of day 1, you do your hero attacks. Beginning of day 2, you do your CWL attack, and then you put your heroes down to upgrade. Use builder potions to get them done by the end of day 3. Do your CWL attack, and then at early day 4, you do your CWL attack, and then you just rinse and repeat. So if you do that, you do have to burn some builder potions to get those hero upgrades done in between, but that's what you would be doing anyways, right? So it's fine. Realistically, that's the only time you're going to need heroes. So by doing this correctly, you should only be leaving your heroes up for maybe 4 hours or so to do all of your CWL attacks, and you should be 100% fine. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about the gold pass for our spenders, as well as the offers that you'll be looking for within the next 2 weeks. You should 100% get the gold pass if you haven't already, because it's going to give you that 60% reduction with Hammer Jam altogether, and this is priceless. On top of that, you'll get builder potions and research potions and pet potions from the gold pass, so there's no reason for you not to get it. Aside from that, you really want to look for when builder potions and research potions are available in shop offers. I made this chart right here, which basically tells you the maximum amount that you should be spending on a builder potion or a research potion to get equitable value to a book during Hammer Jam, so you can use this as a guide. Regardless, I literally always do deals analysis on my channel whenever there's new offers, and I'm going to be doing it a lot these next 2 weeks, so make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. And if you guys do buy anything from the shop, please use code BD. I would really appreciate it, and it helps us out quite a bit. Now, last but not least, let's go ahead and talk about Town Hall 17s that are preparing for Town Hall 18 and what you should be doing if you're a person in that case. As a Town Hall 17, you need to get the priority upgrades done for your Town Hall, and these are the upgrades that you guys can see on my screen right now. If you get these upgrades done, you'll be 100% ready to go for Town Hall 18 the moment that it drops. There are a few differences when it comes to the amount of magic items that you're going to use and the amount of builder potions you're going to buy from the CWL shop though. You have to be really careful that you're not a dum-dum like me and that you don't get so many builder potions that you actually don't have enough buildings to use on. So just a word of caution before you completely cash out on builder potions, make sure you do the math and see that you have enough upgrades to do. For my new Town Hall 18s, it's actually a lot better for you to save those CWL medals and get hammers that you can use when the update does drop. So when it comes to shop offers, you actually want to look at the amount of books that you can get for $5 or less, or whatever 500 gems is worth in your country. Now, honestly, I've been shooting this video right before going to World Champs. I literally have my flight in 2 hours, so if I did miss anything, I'm really sorry. Just let me know in the comments. I'll get back to like as many of you as I can. Regardless, I'm going to be making tons of videos this week, shorts next week, all this stuff, live streams and things like that. If that's something that you guys want to see, make sure to subscribe. And one thing that you guys should note is that during Hammer Jam, we are not getting any reduction to the amount of ores that we have to spend to upgrade equipment. And that is why you need to check out this video right here that breaks down the best return on investment as well as minimum levels for equipment, because ores are so rare in the game nowadays, and we want to make sure that we're getting the best value out of it.